Yes, slide can be seen.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पाद शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। So welcome back everyone to the class. Not able to. Okay, we'll just do a few verses. उत्सीदेयुर्मे लोकाः न कुर्यां कर्म चेदहं शङ्करस्य च कर्ता स्याम् उपहन्यामि माः प्रजाः सक्ताः कर्मण्यविद्वांसः यथा कुर्वन्ति भारत कुर्याद् विद्वांस्तथा सक्तः चिकीर्षुर्लोकसङ्ग्रहम् न बुद्धिभेदं जनयेत् अज्ञानां कर्मसङ्गिनां जोषयेत् सर्वकर्माणि विद्वान् युक्तः समाचरन् प्रकृतेः क्रियमाणानि गुणैः कर्माणि सर्वशः अहङ्कारविमूढात्मा कर्ताहमिति मन्यते। So, yesterday we saw verse 26, Shlok number 26, where Krishna is telling us about why we should be careful, watchful when watchful about what we do, what we say, how we behave, how do we conduct, How are we representing ourselves? This being Shastra's context, we will take that up first. To those who are Atmagyanis, who are still obliged by their own choice to remain in the society, then they are also obliged to continue abiding in the rules that hold the society together. And so, whoever is looking up to them gets inspired, is seeing you, and learns from that by just observation. And that is a part of your Lokasangra unknowingly. Knowingly, in Arjun's context, consciously, his role is to protect people. Therefore, to him is said, you have to fight, is suggested that you have to fight. It's a part of your obligation. But that not being everybody's part, we are not obliged to protect the world. We have an obligation maybe to our family and friends and few more people. Within that, when you are anchored in knowledge, to the extent you are anchored in knowledge, once you start learning knowledge, gyan hai, let's accept that. Let's not make excuses. Let's not make justifications. कान में अगर शब्द पड़ गया और to certain extent समझ आ गया, that knowledge is yours now. It has left the source, it has left the vakta, but it is now heard by you and you have understood it. That means now this is your knowledge. ये ज्ञान एक बार हमने पा लिया, फिर how much are we tuned to that? How much are we anchored in that? He says, once you start maturing yourself, when you have knowledge, अंदर वो कहते ना वो आंख खुलती है, आपकी अंदर की आंख खुलती है. You start seeing things more subtly. You start recognizing things at a core level, at a deeper level, at a actual level should be the right word. Deeper is only because there's so much superficiality of behavior and vyavhar. We don't need really speaking the word deeper. It's actual. यथात्म्य ज्ञानम, as he said. जब आपके पास यथात्म्य ज्ञान है, तो उस यथात्म्य ज्ञान के साथ आप अपने फील्ड्स में जहां पे आप हैं, you try and remain aligned to that. That is your sadhana as a student. It remains our sadhana as a student. For one who's established in it, still it is no excuse not to do that. But at the same time, you have to be very alert, watchful, aware of the fact that if you're established in or have Atmagyan, do not start preaching overtly. Overtly. Do not shake those people by giving them knowledge which they are yet not ready to absorb, to receive. It's exactly like as a parent, if you have a 5-year, 4-year, 6-year child at home, or as a grandparent, you may know many things. But when you are interacting with the child, are you interacting with the child at the level of your knowledge, or at the or at the level of the knowledge that the child is currently capable of absorbing? You even modify sometimes. You even find different ways to convey a thing which may be useful for the child, which may be beneficial for the child's growth. As an adult, you will find ways, you will modify, you will be creative, you will apply everything you have so that you are conveying to the child at the level at which the child understands. ये बात तो हम सबको समझ में आती है. This is seen everywhere in the world. The same way, once you are established in कर्म योग, आपकी चित्त शुद्धि हो गई है, आप ज्ञान को ग्रहण करने लगे हो, आप आत्म विचार को अपनाने लगे हो, मीन्स you are able to now you are able to now see the truth of Atma being your nature, which is conscious. In English, it's so easy to understand, but it doesn't really drive home beyond that much. Consciousness is my nature. Pure awareness, unconditioned awareness is my nature. These words are taking your attention towards Atma for sure, but they are not replacing the word Atma. जैसे जैसे ज्ञान में निष्ठा बनती है, basic idea being pure consciousness is my nature. Everything that is changeless here within me compared to what is changing within me, that Viveka Shakti is constant. जो बदल रहा है वो आत्मा नहीं है. जो बदल रहा है मगर मुझे सत्य दिख रहा है आज, दैट मीन्स मेरी आत्म बुद्धि उसमें है. दैट आत्मा बुद्धि जो मेरी उसमें है, when I have the knowledge, I'm able to say, yes, ये तो बदल रहा है, तो मेरी आत्म बुद्धि इसमें मिथ्या है, ये रियल नहीं है, लग रहा है कि ये है मगर ये है नहीं. In that sense, when more and more you're anchored into Atma, जिनका अभी अधिकार है नहीं इस ज्ञान में, आत्म ज्ञान में, how do you know उनका अधिकार नहीं है? You cannot judge anybody. उनके इंटरेस्ट से, just as a child wants to know, when do you start telling a child anything? When there are children, they have variations in their degree of curiosity also. Some children are so curious. उनको सब कुछ जानना होता है. Everything. They hear a word and they will ask you 10 questions after that. And as an adult, you are stumped. How do you answer certain questions that they come up with? But you try your best in whichever your honest capacity is to answer that. That question that the child puts sets your interaction with the child. Isn't that true in Vyavhar?
Yes, very much, Jyoti.
So, since that is already setting the base of your Vyavhar with the child. Vyavhar means what you talk. If a child, even if you are trying to tell a child this works, but if a child doesn't show interest in it, you don't push the child beyond their interest. Okay, fine, maybe uska jahan interest hai, etc. The same way, if you know knowledge and nobody's asking you knowledge, they don't want knowledge from you. There, do not upset them. They are still attached to Karampal. They are still attached. What do you mean by attached to Karampal? In a very simple statement, it means they still depend on the world to give them happiness. उनका अभी भी नजरिया दुनिया पे होप है, अभी भी दुनिया में लगा हुआ है उसका मन, और दुनिया से आशा रख रहा है कि मुझे आनंद मिलेगा. दुनिया थोड़ी सीधी हो जाए तो मुझे आनंद मिलेगा. दुनिया ऐसे चलेगी वो ऐसा करेगा, ये ऐसा होगा. There are conditions in which you think I will get happy if these conditions are met. That means, to the extent my interest is in gaining happiness from the world, to that an extent, I am attached to karma and karma phal. To them, and these are people in the world, not the ones who have interest in the subject and who are attending classes or are showing interest. This is in the world when you meet them. To them, you don't start preaching Atma is a karta. The point here that is to be derived, तात्पर्य क्या है इन verses का? From when he set his own example as Shrestha, and I work for Loka Sangraha, and therefore you, Arjun, also are like looked up, therefore you should also work for Loka Sangraha. If you're a Gyani, if you're not a Gyani, then you work for Chitta Shuddhi, but work you will have to do. This is very clear. I think I've repeated it enough that it's got established in your understanding. Here onwards, he's saying, when you become, if you think you're a knowledgeable person, make sure that you are always cautious of a part of your responsibility, a part of your duty is do not unsettle the attachment that people have from their dependence on the world. Means अगर कोई कह रहा है कि नहीं नहीं मुझे यही चाहिए दुनिया में, then I'll be happy, and if they don't have it, they've come sorrowful, or they have grudges, or they have frustrations, or because they still think the world is a place where they will find their happiness. It's all in the external. To them, you don't start saying, after all, dunya mein kya rakha hai, you know, it's all futile, you know, and that program their mind by giving them knowledge more than what they are ready to receive. Do not pre-program their mind. Is this conveyable?
Yes. Yes.
So he says, instead, since you're not supposed to go on pre-programming others, what should you do? Go on living your life. You go on living the knowledge in the way that you should, without saying, without preaching. आप जियो. आप जितना उस ज्ञान को जियोगे, आपके अंदर जितना ज्ञान एक्सप्रेस कर रहा है, जीने की आपको कोशिश भी नहीं करनी पड़ेगी, because once you have identified with the knowledge, you are the knowledge, and then knowledge expresses itself. It comes as natural because you are that knowledge, and you are not separate, you are not different from that knowledge. You live that, and whoever will understand, whoever will get inspired, will automatically start following it. Therefore, do not confuse them by pre programming them into the highest knowledge when they are not ready for it. Because, as we saw, if you do that, you are doing disservice to them. You are actually misleading them. You have actually misdirected them. How have you how have you misdirected them? Shastra Vidya clearly says karma is your method, and in karma upasanas are included. Karma is the method through which you can get chitta shuddhi. If you give up prematurely, you don't get qualification for Atma Vidya, and you are also now lost interest in doing what you should be doing. मन छोड़ने को हमेशा तैयार होता है, तो अगर उसको लग जाता है, जस्ट एज अर्जुन को लग रहा है कि छोड़ के आई विल बी मोर at peace with myself. If I do not fight the war, I'll be at immediate peace. He will be in immediate peace if he doesn't fight the war. Fighting the war is klesh. Fighting the war is he has to fight his own emotion. He has to conquer his own emotion to prepare himself to do his duty. I'm repeating the statement. For Arjun to abide in his duty, he will have to conquer his emotion to act on his duty. And that is going to be quote unquote tapas. That will be effort. That will be klesh. Therefore, most most of us are not, or rather put it another way, most of us are ready to give up the klesh part. So immediately giving it up will give us some peace. But in the long run, just as I gave the example later on, when Abhimanyu was caught in the Chakravyuh, uh, again I've forgotten the name, Jayadrat, or yeah, huh? uh, Arjun had taken a vow. Means his entire Kshatriyapan came up back exactly how it was before he had this small episode of Shok and Moh. Before that episode of Shok and Moh, Arjun in his personality returned back. After, when he saw that his own, how cruel, manipulative the Kauravas are, the entire Arjun and that vague returned back. That um, desire to set things right came back. So he says, do all your karmas in a way that Shastra ordains you to do, which means what? Very simple. Ishvara, Preeti, Ishwar Arpan, uske liye, and phal, phal se asakt hoke. Do not hanker after what will I get. Do not keep looking at the results of your actions, but keep doing what you're supposed to do within your nature, within your swadharma, within your qualifications, wherever you are designed. Keep your anchor on your self growth. Keep your anchor on establishing in Jnanam, and that will be the right way instead of telling others Atma Vidya is the right thing. If somebody has a problem, um, rather than giving advices, stay, give only as much as they're ready, etc., etc. Okay. Now he says in the 27th verse. So far, we are all okay.
हाँ जी दीप्ति जी.
Yeah. Okay. So he says now, what is it about a vidwan? विद्वान को कहा समाचार होके युक्त होके कर्म करता रहे उसी जोश ये with the same spirit, keep acting as a ज्ञानी would do when he wants a desire fulfilled. But अविद्वान जो अज्ञ है, जो ignorant है, how does he get सज्जते attached, जुड़ जाता है, लग जाता है, एक हो जाता है ना? कर्मसु, इन कर्मास, कर्म करने में कर्म करने में वो कैसे लग जाता है, जुड़ जाता है. अविद्वान कैसे कर्मों के साथ जुड़ा रहता है. How does a ignorant person get attached to the realm of karma? And that is now the 27th verse. And very fine, there is a lot of clarity in 27th and 28th verse. Patiently just go on listening. प्रकृतेः क्रियमाणानि गुणैः कर्माणि सर्वशः. प्रकृतेः, प्रकृति, Prakriti is what? Gunaihi is made up of gunas. What is Prakriti? Pradhanam. Sankhya Darshan would call it Pradhanam. In English, we call it matter. But there is a lot of difference between how science sees matter and how Shastra will show us what matter is. So when we say matter, to us, it's only the gross world. But Prakriti, which is also from another standpoint called Pradhan, which is different from Purusha. So Sankhya Darshan will divide the world into Purusha and Pradhan. Purusha is the conscious part, the Mahapurusha, the one unifying, which is the source of, which is separate from Pradhan according to them, not according to Vedanta, according to Sankhya. But Vedanta borrows the word Pradhan because this Prakriti is Gunaihi, is of made of gunas, has gunas. You can't say made of gunas. Prakriti is gunas. You can't even say has, have, had. All these can direct the thinking in a different direction. Prakriti is gunas. Now, what are gunas? If you look around in the world, what do you find a common characteristic in the world? What are the common characteristics that you find in the world? You find that there is a capacity, there is a capacity to know, have knowledge, jnana shakti, and there is a capacity to act, kriya shakti. You know, you see that we are all engaged in knowing and doing. And other than this, there is a capacity of not being in both for some time, just being not having either of them, which is, I don't, they don't, there is no capacity to know and there is no capacity to uh, do kriya, to move, to act. Where do you find that there is no capacity to know or to act?
In Alasya or
Sorry? Okay. But where do you find in the world this capacity is not there? Where in the world is this capacity?
in other jivas besides a human being.
Other jivas, if you say, then they at least move.
I mean, okay.
They at least move.
Jad.
Very good.
Jad.
Excellent. What is jad? Inert. What matter we call as inert in non-living beings? Yes. Inertness, jadta. So, what are the three things that you see in the world common? There is a capacity to know, there is a capacity to do, and there is either no capacity to know or to do. Three things. Capacity to know is sattva, gun hai ye. Means we, our thinkers of the past, rishis, have observed जहां जहां capacity है जिस जीव में जानने की. You know, when science does experiments on rats and uh, they'll make them do the same thing again and again. No? And you find that there are a lot of experiments that have come out where rats are also becoming problem solvers. Problem solving means now there is a capacity to figure out the problem and find a solution. Like if we found that there were monsoons and in monsoons everything is getting wet, we constructed a hut. When we realized that the hut is not adequate, needs a lot of maintain, etc., how we keep on finding a solution to a previous problem. This is sattvicness. To be able to find the problem and the solution. Clarity. The gun is clarity. The gun is purity. The gun is translucence. The gun is shant. Means jaan sakta hai. That is the gun. Rajas is what? Capacity to act. So once I know, I set about doing things. I set about finding material. I set about acquiring things, whatever is needed, etc. Rajas. So प्रकृति, ये जो सारी कैपेसिटीज हैं, गुण ही, this capacity is what is propelling sarvashaha everywhere. What is it propelling? Karmani. All karmas are propelled, are seen to be performed through the gunas, by the gunas, which is prakriti. So the first line is what? All the actions that you see, by wherever, by whoever, जो भी आपको क्रिया दिख रही है, जहां भी क्रिया दिख रही है, जहां पे भी आपको कर्म दिख रहा है, जहां पे भी आपको गति दिख रही है, गति मीन्स मूवमेंट, wherever you see any action, all actions are, I don't have the right word, performed is wrong, स्वाभाविक प्रकृति का गुण है वो, गुण ही अपने आप को एक्सप्रेस कर रही है, गुण ही अपने आप को मैनिफेस्ट कर रही है, गुण ही अपने आप को, if anybody can give me a good word, गुण ही अपने आप को
मैनिफेस्ट कर रहे हैं,
मैनिफेस्ट कर रही है. Gunas are in motion. Gunas are themselves expressing themselves. It's the gunas which are expressed. It is the gunas which are expressing. That's the correct word. गुण ही है जो दिख रहे हैं. In Hindi, गुण ही है जो दिख रहे हैं. मगर what happens? अहंकार, विमूढ़ात्मा, because of ahankar, the one who is deluded by ahankar, वो विमूढ़ आत्मा, the one जो विमूढ़ है. What is विमूढ़? English would be विमूढ़, foolish, deluded, अज्ञानी, unconnected to reality. गलत सोच है, विमूढ़ है, सोच नहीं है, और सोचता भी है तो गलत सोचता है. विमूढ़, मूढ़ इज व्हाट? मूढ़. हम कहते हैं ना, मूढ़ है ये, बुद्धू, है ना, जानता नहीं है. इन दैट सेंस, इवन इन अ पॉजिटिव सेंस, मतलब जानता नहीं है. अहंकार से विमूढ़ आत्मा means he is deluded by ahankar, and having that ahankar, karta aham iti manyate. Iti is quotation. Karta aham, I am the doer. ऐसा मानता है, thinks like that, believes like that, that I am the karta. Compromised translation is I am the doer, but doer is a very limited scope of knowledge. Doer is very little. Karta, in karta, even if you're not doing something, but you believe yourself to be a karta, you can believe yourself to be a karta without doing anything. I am a karta. So karta has a deeper, more pervaded meaning than just the doer. But
Somehow karta has ahankar attached to it.
Exactly what he's saying. Because of ahankar, he thinks that he is a doer. He is a karta. Now here, Shankaracharya gives and Madhusudan, both of them, Sat Gunanam Samya Avastha. He says, what is Prakriti? Prakriti is what is in a Samya Avastha, means it is in its unmanifest state. Prakriti is still in its unmanifest state. That Prakriti Avastha, Prakriti hai gunehi vikaraihi. This gunas is said as what? vikar. Vikar means modifications, changes. What is it of? Karana rupaihi. They are in the form of karya and karana. Karya means in the form of sharir, manifest, body. Karana means antakarana, your senses, organs of action and perception. So, what is this actually expression of कार्य करण रूपैहि इस गुणैहि? गुणैहि का ही विकार है कार्य करण रूप. देर ऑल इन द सेम केस. गुणों का ही विकार है कार्य करण रूप. सो गुणों का ही विकार है ये शरीर और अंतकरण. यही क्रियमाणानि कर्माणि. दिस इज व्हाट इज कॉन्स्टेंटली सेट इन एक्शन. करते रहता है. क्रियमाणानि, कर्म करते रहते हैं. जो भी कार्य हो रहे हैं होते रहते हैं. Actions are being done continuously. It's in a continuous sense. Actions are being done. What actions? Any action. When he says sarvashah karmani, which laukikani shastriyani, koi bhi karm, whether it's religious or it is laukik karma, khana pina jana kamana, any karma, or you are doing puja, patha, parayanam, and what is it, parikrama, or whatever, any of the karmas, all these karmas, he says, in every manner, ahankara vimudhatma. And what is this ahankara vimudhatma? This is fantastic clarity. A lot of people are always asking, what is ahankar? Because the translation of ahankar is ego, and ego is fairly easy to understand. Overemphasis of one's individuality is called ego. Usme bahut ego hai. When we say, what we mean is he has an over expression of his own self. He believes himself to be everything. That kind of superiority is the expression of ego. But ahankar, according to Shastra, is not just superiority. Ahankar means karya karana sanghata. This body and the antakarana. The combination that is there, उस combination में शरीर और अंतकरण का जो ये combination है, उस संघात में, उनके जुड़ने में आत्म प्रत्ययः. प्रत्ययः is thought. Casual meaning. Pratyaya is thought. The thought of Atma in कार्य करण संघात. कार्य करण संघात में ये आत्मा है ऐसा जो मानना है. शरीर आत्मा है, मैं हूं. आत्मा here means not आत्मा is ब्रह्मन वाला आत्मा. आत्मा means मैं, मेरा, मैं. That because he's saying pratyaya. That pratyaya is telling us this atma means I thought. I am thought. I am this. I am here. I am so and so. When we use the word I am all the time, I, मैं ये हूँ, मुझे ये करना है, मुझे वहाँ जाना है, मुझे ये खाना है, मुझे, all the time that I am is getting used, our I am is attached to कार्य करण संघात. इससे जुड़ के I am calling myself as I. And that is ahankar. He is a deluded thinking. Means उसकी सोच, should I say right? नहीं, उसकी सोच अहंकार से ढकी है. Means अहंकार ढकी is the wrong word. उसकी सोच अहंकार,
Mithyacharas.
also, yes, mithyachari is when he actually has desires but is not operating on them. Ahankar is Okay, I'm rephrasing the words. Ahankar is simply, ahankar means aham karna ahamkar. Aham, 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 ahamkar. It's actually ahamkar. Sandhi hai. Ahankar. It's actually what? Ahamkar. Kar is a suffix. Aham karna. Clouded, okay, to some extent. Yes, you can compromise that meaning. अहंकार विमूढ़ात्मा, अहंकार से मूढ़ित हो गई है उसको, उसकी सोच. हाँ, that's the right way to put it. अहंकार से मूढ़ित हो गई है means is got deluded through अहंकार. And what is अहंकार? This कार्य कारण संघात में आत्मा प्रत्यय is अहंकार. तेना विविधम नाना विविधम मूढ़ः. By that various kinds of varieties, nana vividham. Moodha atma antakaranam yasya saha. It's referring to the person. This is a samas. Ahankara vimudhatma. Shankaracharya has given us a whole vigraha of it, broken up. It's a referring to the person. It's a bahuvrihi samas. It's referring to the person. जिसकी अंतकरण में, जिसकी अंतकरण मूढ़ित हो गई है variously by in many ways, believing themselves to be this body mind sense complex. मैं ये हूं. इससे सह, that deluded person, अहंकारी विमूढ़ात्मा, अयम कार्य करण धर्मा, this कार्य करण के जो धर्म हो रहे हैं, कार्य करण अभिमानी. I start taking a abhiman in this karya karana. Body and the senses में जो व्यापार हो रहा है, karam comes because of your organs of action. Your senses are giving you the direction, what action to be done. ये जो इनका एक व्यापार हो रहा है, इस पे हमारा अभिमान है. Because of ahankar, my identification with the body and the senses. And therefore, I believe I am the body. Therefore, he says, this karya karana abhimani, saha, that person, avidyaya, due to avidya, karmani atmani manyamanaha, tat tat karmanam. He arrogates all those karmas on himself. कर्म कौन कर रहा है? कर्म का व्यापार कौन कर रहा है? कैसे हो रहा है?
प्रकृति के गुण के द्वारा हो रहा है.
एक्सलेंट. प्रकृति के गुणों के बीच में हो रहा है. I'll be explaining this, so unfortunately don't forget all this by next class next week, but by the next verse the whole thing will fall into place, complete vision. So प्रकृति के कारण हो रहा है, गुना से हो रहा है. The work is happening between the organs of action and इंद्रिया. कर्म हो रहे हैं, गुणों से हो रहे हैं, गुणा से हो रहे हैं. मगर ये अहंकार विमूढ़ी आत्मा मन्यमानाः, अपने आप को मानता है ऐसा. क्या? तत्तत् कर्मणाम, वो कर्मों का, अहम कर्ता इति, आई एम द डूअर, फॉल्सली एरोगेट्स, आरोपित करता है. कर्तापन अपने पे, जबकि कर्तापन अपने पे आरोपित करता है, जबकि एक्चुअली कर्मा तो प्रकृति के गुण कर रहे हैं, मगर कर्ता वो अपने को मान रहा है. कर्म प्रकृति के गुण से हो रहे हैं, मगर वो शरीर और इंद्रियों से जुड़ा अहम प्रत्यय रखता है इसमें, तो वो फॉल्सली अपने पे कर्ता बुद्धि रखता है. he falsely believes himself to be the doer. Clear this was?
Haji.
Everyone? Since I can't
Yes,
see.
please.
Thank you, Ji.
Yes, please.
Now, there is not much difference in what Madhusudan ji says, but as I say, it just draws a little more depth into the vision. I hope everyone's following this. I'm always open to your feedback. If you think this is not helping you get more knowledge, we can always, I can edit it, not tell you it is from here, but I will still say because it is giving knowledge. I hope the process is before. I have just been reminded by the words, do not confuse people. So I'm being very cautious at the moment. That's a joke. Okay. I believe it gives, that's why I'm doing it. If it's not clear, you can always ask again. So Prakriti is what? I'm doing this because it'll get connected to the next verse and uh, the whole thought flow. Because here he uses the word Maya. Shankara did not use the word Maya. Prakriti means Maya. And what is Maya? Maya is Sattva, Rajas, Tamo, Guni, Mai. Maya is of the nature of Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas. Guna, Mai. Clarity comes. Prakriti is Maya, and Maya is of the nature of Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas Guna. And what are they? Mithya Jnanatmika. It is Mithya, of the nature of Mithya. Gyan Atmika. This Maya is Mithya Jnanatmika. It is not really there, but it is seen to be there. The movement that we see, the capacities that we are observing, it's attributed to Prakriti, and that Prakriti is Maya. And what is Maya? Parameshwari Shakti. It is the Shakti of Ishvara. Ishwar ki Shakti hai. That is why we said Jnana Shakti, Kriya Shakti. Shakti hai ye. Ye Shakti kiski hai? Parameshwari Shakti. You can trace it back to Parameshwara Shakti. So tracing all the gunas back to Maya, and Maya is actually Mithya Jnanam. It is not real. It is an appearance. It is seen to be real as long as I don't have the real knowledge. I'm seeing the world of plurality. My seeing the world of plurality is Mithya Jnanam. That world of plurality, because I see it, Shastras helped us to first trace it back by seeing the common factors that are there. The Nyaya Darshan helps us tremendously in tracing it back to the common factors. So, what is the common factor in all living beings? Capacity to learn, to know, capacity to act. Every living being will have to some degree variation, but you can trace it back. That capacity belongs to who? From where is it originating? Where is it this capacity come from? Does it belong to each one of us separately? That will become another darshan then. Where is it? Because it's a common faculty, the Shastra traces it back to saying which Shastra. Here we are just keeping it as we have adopted some portions of Sankhya Darshan. Vedanta adopts certain portions where Prakriti is taken up because it helps us to consider the details of creation. According to Vedanta, all these details are mithya, but you cannot unsettle the minds of people. So, as long as they believe it to be real, you have to go on giving them the way towards the knowledge, and therefore, the division of creation is accepted by Vedanta. The division of the gunas is accepted by Vedanta. But ultimately, there is nothing. But we accept the division because the receiver of the knowledge still believes himself to be one with the body and the world is separate and has a sense of reality everywhere. So, this Maya is Parameshwari Shakti. And then he just quotes Shweta Shvetara Upanishad. I think that's what he's quoting. Yeah, Shweta Shvetara Upanishad, which says Mayam tu Prakritim Vidyan Mainam tu Maheshwaram. Iti Shrutehe. In the Shweta Shvetara, it is said this Maya is Maheshwaram Shakti, broadly speaking. Then he says, Tasyaha Prakrite Gunaihi Vikaraihi. That of that Prakriti, which is Gunaihi, which is Vikarahi, which is in the form of Karya Karana Rupaihi. So far we are common with Shankaracharya and what we have studied. Kriyamanani, Laukikani, Vaidikani cha, Karmani, Sarvashaha, Sarva Prakaraihi, Aham Karena. Because of this ahankarena, because by this ahankar, karya karana sanghata atma pratyayena. Because you have this karya is body, karana is your antakaranam, sanghata is this oneness between them. इसके अंदर अपना आत्मा मैं ये हूं, that आत्मा प्रत्यय I am thought, इससे विमूढ़ः स्वरूप विवेक असमर्थम. Because you have got deluded by egoism with reference to this body and antakaranam, स्वरूप विवेक के असमर्थ हो. आपका जो स्वरूप है, which is atma, which is vyatireka from this karya karana sanghata, which is separate from this karya karana sanghata, your swarupam, which is atma. And to understand it easily, let's replace it with consciousness. That consciousness is your swarupam. To know that capacity, viveka, samarthyam, is not there because ahankara vimudaha. Atma antakaranam yasya saha. Who has got this ahankara, uska antakaran, saha ahankara vimudhatma. Again, the same bahuvrihi. Anatmani atma abhimani. So he has abhiman over anatma. Why did he bring anatma? Because he brought maya. Maya is entirely anatma. To differentiate it from what is atma, you are atma. The whole jagat is maika. And that jagat is, when we say it is maika, means separating it from discerning it, not physical separation. To be able to discern it from Atma, we call it Anatma. This is not Atma, is Anatma, na Atma, Anatma. Anatma is not another padarth, Anatma is not another reality. In your thinking, you have understood it's not Atma, therefore it is Anatma. That Swarupa Viveka asamartham. Atma antakarana yasya saha ahankara vimudhatma anatmani atma abhimani. Tani karmani. Because of that abhiman, in all those karmas, karta aham iti, which is karomi aham iti, manyate. I do. Karomi aham iti manyate. I am doing. I do. Kartritva adhyasena. All those on the Facebook, for some time I won't be able to read your messages because I am putting this on charge, and when I put it on charge I have to give it a landscape orientation, and in landscape orientation I can't see comments. So sorry, I won't be able to read your comments for now, for a little while till this gets charged. So karomi ahamiti manyate kartritva adhyasena. Kartritva is adhyasa. This is Vedanta. Kartritva is adhyasa. Adhyasa is falsely. Correct. Very good. Excuse me. Falsely superimposing something which is not on something which is. वो अध्यास है. आत्मा में अनात्मा का आरोपण करके उसको आत्मा समझना, ये अध्यास है. So now uncode this. Now, how will you understand this in the whole spirit of the language of the verse we've done so far? कर्मा कौन कर रहा है? कर्म का व्यवहार किसके कारण है? किसके बीच में हो रहा है?
गुणों के बीच में हो रहा है.
गुणों के बीच में. कार्य कारण के बीच में हो रहा है. गुणों के बीच में कर्म हो रहा है, व्यापार हो रहा है, व्यवहार हो रहा है. कर्म गुण अपने आप को एक्सप्रेस कर रहे हैं. उन गुणों का एक्सप्रेशन में जो इस प्रकृति का जो मैनिफेस्टेशन है, शरीर और अंतकरण, इस मैनिफेस्टेशन को जो जोड़ गया, वो कौन है? Stick the words to this understanding today. Use the words within this. Who is that who has identified with the body and the senses?
जो अज्ञानी,
जो अज्ञानी है और जो विमूढ़ है, उसका ये जुड़ना क्या है?
संघात.
संघात तो है ही, मगर what is the अहंकार? अहंकार. वेरी गुड. अहंकार, वो जो अहंकार है उससे वो विमूढ़ित हुआ है और मानता है कि ये शरीर मैं हूं. That ahankar, he is imposing because of the ahankar. The gunas that are operating on their own, that are functioning with their own nature, he is arrogating those gunas, superimposing those gunas, which are mithya, which are prakriti gunas. He is superimposing it on Atma and saying, I am doing. What do you mean by superimposing on Atma? क्या आत्मा पे कोई कुछ डाल सकता है? नो. अहम प्रत्यय, अहम का स्वरूप आत्मा है, मगर वो स्वरूप को जानता नहीं है, इसलिए अज्ञानी है. तो अहम प्रत्यय से वो कर्मों को अपने पे जोड़ लेता है, अहम प्रत्यय पे. That is why you have in Vedanta, when you enter through Chitta Shuddhi, that's why, as I said, Upadesha Sar had given us a whole vision. This aham pratyay ka go back. Aham pratyay is the body identification, but aham ka swarup is Atma. He doesn't know that. Since we do not know that, हम इस व्यापार को मैं मानते हैं. And karta ahamiti, we believe ourselves to be karta. And then trin pratyaya, he's used grammatical. This is a Panini Sutra. So why is karta used is in this sense is said, which is not our topic. Therefore, clear? Prakritehe kriyamānāni gunaihi karmāni sarvashah ahankara vimūಢātma karta aham iti manyate. I think it should be clear. Anybody has a doubt so far?
दीदी जी, when you say वो अपने को, मतलब is he saying his sharir is responsible for the action which happened? Is he crediting his sharir for this?
No.
Because he's very like he thinks मतलब मैं ही शरीर हूँ, आत्मा ही शरीर है, तो कुछ ऐसा है क्या?
नो 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 नो। जब आप अपने आप को शरीर मानने लगते हो, शास्त्र कह रहे हैं कि आप शरीर तो हो नहीं, आप तो आत्मा हो। तो शरीर के गुणों को आप अपने ऊपर आरोपित कर रहे हो। This in details, at the moment you can just listen to it. The greater clarity will come in 13th chapter. This will need some explanation more in details, which will be a little out of context for now. But good you point out. Adhyasa means, take the example of rope and snake. In a semi-lit corner of a room, suddenly someone enters and you get fear. You say, oh, there's a snake. Then the adult comes, switches on the light, and you see, oh, it's a rope. There was never a snake. And the fear goes. Now, seeing the snake instead of a rope, this was your real perception. आपका ज्ञान है ये, मुझे दिख रहा है, आप ऐसा कहोगे, मुझे वहां सर्प दिख रहा है. आई एम सीइंग अ स्नेक. When you say I see a snake, on what is the snake scene actually speaking? What is really the substance there? What is the material there? Actual material there is the rope. But I can't see the rope as the rope. Light conditions and my own preoccupied state of mind. मुझे रोप नहीं दिख रहा है. मैंने थोड़ा ठहर के अपने आप को रोक के थोड़ा विवेक करके कमरे में स्नेक कहाँ से आ गया, मैंने कुछ विचार नहीं किया, क्वेश्चन नहीं किया अपने परसेप्शन को. I jumped into the perception as I felt. I owned it up as, oh, there is a snake, और मुझे घबराहट हो गई उससे, मुझे डर आ गया. स्नेक है, स्नेक है, स्नेक है, मैंने चिल्लाना शुरू कर दिया. That aropit means I have superimposed. I have means it's natural. I did not deliberate it. It's not a kriya. That is why it's called adhyasa. Adhyasa is not kriya. मैंने किया नहीं है. When we say I have, it's just a way of saying it. But it just happened. And I saw a snake instead of a rope. जो नहीं है वहां पे और जो है वहां पे, जो है वो मैंने नहीं देखा, जो नहीं है वो देखा है, और उसको मैंने उस पे देखा है जो है. इसको कहते हैं अध्यास. एंड ट्रांसलेटिंग इट इनटू अवरसेल्व्स, ये शरीर इंद्रिया संघात व्यापार जो हो रहा है, ये जीवत्व बुद्धि शास्त्र दृष्टि में मुझे आज रियल दिख रही है, पैरेलल टू द स्नेक. Therefore, I get all these hiccups of life, samsaric life. किस पे दिख रही है? वो मुझे नहीं दिख रहा, रोप मुझे नहीं दिख रहा. शास्त्र विद्या आप आप्त पुरुष ज्ञानी मुझे कहता है, यहां पे जीवत्वम नहीं है, जीवा कोई नहीं है, सिर्फ आत्मा है. आपका स्वरूप आत्मा है. आप आत्मा हो, आप ब्रह्मन हो. मगर मुझे तो जीवा दिख रहा है, मुझे ब्रह्मन नहीं दिख रहा, मुझे आत्मा समझ नहीं आ रहा, मुझे ब्रह्मन समझ नहीं आ रहा, मुझे इट्स आउट ऑफ माय होल perceptional world. It doesn't touch me. It doesn't. I hear the words, but there is no knowledge of it. मुझे नहीं पता आत्मा क्या है, ब्रह्मन क्या है. मुझे पूरे जीवन सुनते रहे, फिर भी it cannot become an immediate knowledge to me if I do not have antakarana shuddhi. So Atma and Brahman will always remain paroksha gyan. Paroksha gyan means distant knowledge. I can only accept it on faith. Shastra is telling me. This is adhyasa. Jivatvam is adhyasa. Why is it adhyasa? Because I'm imposing something which is not on something which I can't see today. It's a false superimposition. It's an it's a superimposition by error, due to lack of thinking, due to lack of deeply discerning, due to lack of analyzing my experience of who I am. अहम प्रत्यय को मैंने कभी विचार में नहीं डाला. मैं कौन हूं, मैं क्या हूं. I take it for granted I am this body. So for मोक्ष, मुक्ति चाहिए, तो I am this body is not going, will be falsified. जीवत्व है ही नहीं. But this is, you reach this point where, say in this context, Arjun wants that knowledge. But what is Krishna telling him? You're not ready for that knowledge. How will you get ready? Prepare yourself. How will you prepare yourself? You're already identified with the body. आपको snake दिख रहा है. So therefore, get ready to understand it's not a snake but a rope. Get ready to understand Jivatvam is not there. You are Brahman. Till you are not ready for it, to make yourself ready for it, start slowly developing an eligibility. That slowly developing eligibility means do Karam Yoga or Upasana Yoga, whichever way you understand better. And through that, gradually you will find that this Aropanam, what Shastra tells me, becomes my immediate knowledge. मेरी समझ में आ जाएगा, वो परोक्ष नहीं रहेगा. ये अब होगा through the process. That's why it's like a guidance, it's a road map. जैसे जैसे चलोगे वैसे वैसे होगा. So आज जहां हम खड़े हैं वहां से हमें शायद नहीं दिखेगा, मगर चलते चलते शास्त्र कह रहा है चलोगे उस रास्ते पे तो दिख जाएगा. क्या दिखेगा? ज्ञान दिखेगा. Is that clear? Everyone clear? So now that was 27th verse. Now in 28th verse, he shows the contrast. So, ignorant कैसे कर्म करता है, जोश कैसे वो सक्त हो जाता है, सक्ताः कर्माणि अविद्वांसः, जुड़ के कैसे वो काम करता है, वो 27th verse में समझाया. कुर्यात, you do, असक्तः, तुम असक्त होके करो. That is going to be 28th verse. Tattvavit tu. That tu there, tu means separating it from the previous person. Other than the previous, अज्ञानी को छोड़ के, कौन है वो? Showing the difference. Who's the other one? Tattvavit, जो तत्व को जानता है. वो क्या करता है? In a very short, I will say today so that we don't lose the thought flow. He, O महाबाहो, O अर्जुन, जो तत्वविद को जानता है, वो कौन है? वो गुण और कर्म को विभाग कर लेता है. गुणों से कर्म होते हैं. That विभाग is known to him. गुण और कर्म का विभाग वो जानता है. Moreover, गुणाः गुणेषु वर्तन्ते. गुणाः, गुण गुणों में ही रहते हैं. इति, in this manner, मत्वा, जो जानता है, न सज्जते, वो जुड़ता नहीं है. किससे नहीं जुड़ता? Anybody?
अहंकार से.
अहंकार से. Excellent. वो दिस संघात, कार्य कारण संघात से जुड़ता ही नहीं है. तो अहंकार, I am the doer, मैं करता हूं, वो बनता ही नहीं है. तो कर्तृत्वम gets सज्जते, वो जुड़ता नहीं है तो कर्तृत्वम होता नहीं है. And that is how he is a तत्वविद. क्योंकि ये करता नहीं है, आत्मा अकर्ता है, आत्मा कुछ करती नहीं है. सो सारी क्रिया तो गुणों में है. आत्मा करता है. This I will explain a little bit. Guna guneshu vartante, for us to understand कि तत्वविद की दृष्टि में वो भेद गुण कर्म विभागयो हो, and that gunas abide in gunas means senses and their respective sense objects. Guneshu means the world, sense objects. The sense organs remain engaged in their sense objects respectively, which means eyes will only see color and form, ears only hear their sound, nose only smells. Gunaha guneshu vartante. The senses receive the stimulus of their respective gunas. There is common guna between the sound and ear. There is a same guna between sound and ear. Therefore, your ear hears, but your eye can't hear, because the guna of the eye and the form roop is the same. And what are these gunas? What are the gunas?
Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas.
Excellent. Sattva, Rajas and Tamas. So, गुण गुण में ही रहते हैं, जो ये दृष्टि रखता है कि all these perceptions are happening between the senses and the objects, their respective objects. वही सारा कर्म और व्यापार है. वो फिर इनसे जुड़ता नहीं है कि I am doing. Doesn't have that. Okay. And then he will conclude that. Yeah, one second. Then he will conclude this in the 29th verse. कि जो जुड़ा हुआ है therefore, वो मूढ़ाहा, जो कर्मों में लगा हुआ है, उसको जो जानता है, जो जान चुका है, वो they should not disturb the minds of the जो अभी मंद है. They should not disturb their mind. So he completes the whole topic again. And you get the clarity. What is the tatparya? What is the clarity? कर्म हमें करना है. कर्म नॉर्मली बंधन का कारण होता है. कर्म ही एक अज्ञानी को संसार में रखता है. कर्मों को जब हम ईश्वर से जोड़ के करते हैं तो अपने आप ईश्वर प्रीति, ईश्वर अर्पणम, प्रसाद बुद्धि, प्रसाद ग्रहणम, acceptance of the things as they are, अपने आप धीरे धीरे फल में आसक्ति कम हो जाती है. As the mind starts to mature, that maturity will slowly bring one to qualifying for the knowledge. And that extreme last point of it is shown that even if whoever is knowledgeable, how should they come back and conduct themselves according to their own gunas, prarabdha? How will they conduct? Continue to do karmas, what you're ordained to do for the sake of lok sangraha. And do not unsettle those who are not ready for it. Means those who are engaged in pravritti, उनको प्रवृत्ति में रख के आप ऐसे कर्म करो कि वो उनके लिए शिक्षा बन जाए. आपको देखना ही उनके लिए शिक्षा हो जाएगी कि आप कैसे करते हो. You act in such a way as Shastra shows you should act, so that they learn and they can absorb, and slowly they will also grow. Yes, your question?
No, I got it explained, but the question was that it is the gunas that make you see a snake and a rope. You don't see, is the gunas, right, which make you see?
No, it is actually avidya which makes you see it as a snake.
Okay.
कारण अविद्या है.
Okay.
और अविद्या क्या है? अविद्या अपने आप में कुछ भी नहीं है. ना विद्या होना अविद्या है. मीन्स रोप की विद्या नहीं है मेरे पास कि वहां रोप था. सपोजिंग आई बिफोर हैंड न्यू देर इज अ रोप देर. नेक्स्ट टाइम व्हेन आई कम इन द रूम, will I see a snake?
No.
Because now I have knowledge, it's a rope.
Rope. Okay. So it's nothing to do with the gunas.
Gunas के हिसाब से maximum में भी somebody will see a garland or somebody will see a snake. You know,
Okay.
that specification can come sometimes, differentiation, but it is not because of gunas that you see. अध्यास
Okay.
गुणों के कारण नहीं है. अध्यास
अविद्या.
ना जानने के कारण है.
Okay, okay. And I gathered from the last sentences of yours that karma is a double-edged sword.
Yes.
It can take you up or it can take you down.
Absolutely. And only in a human form, it's a double-edged sword.
Mhm.
No other prani has this double-edgedness. That's why Shastra Vidya is so important in a human life. यहीं से आपकी गति ऊपर भी हो सकती है और यहीं से आपकी गति गिर भी सकती है और यहाँ पे आप स्टैग्नेंट भी हो सकते हो. कुछ भी हो सकता है. मतलब all changes is possible in a human form. That's why it's precious. Every shastra, especially prakarna granthas, they first start by saying the rareness of a human birth, that you are privileged to have a human birth. Do not waste it. They start by, most prakarna granthas will highlight the importance of a human birth, because to liberate yourself, to even relatively free yourself, if you are a sad person, if you are a angry person, when will you free yourself from being a sad or an angry person? Does it happen on its own? Supposing by nature somebody is a sad person or an angry person or whatever, क्या अपने आप वो बदल जाता है इंसान?
No, not at all.
नहीं, हमारी षटक संपत्ति के साथ धीरे धीरे बदलेगा with चित्त शुद्धि.
वो तो on the spiritual mark तो absolutely correct. Yes, but the point is, क्या वो अपने आप बदलते हैं? जो sad है वो तो sad ही रहेगा और sad होता जाएगा till he does something. That's the value of human birth. So what should he do now? चित्त शुद्धि के साथ धीरे धीरे बदलेगा. So get on to the mark of what is meaningful, right, for a human achievement. That's a real achievement.
Deepti ji, may I just add to Neetu ji's question? Can we say that, जैसे because of avidya I saw a snake, but if I had more sattva, I then eventually realized that because there is over here, there is no way for a snake to enter, and therefore that's not a snake. Or if I did not have that, then I continued living in the fear कि वो snake है, snake है, snake है.
Absolutely. वो जो I can, if I have sattva, I will have some vivek shakti. So that vivek shakti is what I employ. It can be available to me. Before I react, I can say, Are. And you can also have sattva increased by managing your rajas and tamas. If that is a different prakarnam, but let's not get into gunas. That comes in 14th chapter. When we come to 14th chapter, you'll get a lot of details about gunas. Here the focus should remain where the focus is given. शास्त्र हमको बहुत ब्यूटीफुल बात बता रहा है यहाँ पे. It's a life changer. It's gati changer. It brings you to the point of eligibility for moksha. इससे ज़्यादा क्या दे सकता है कोई? Third chapter is for that. अपने कर्मों में योग्यता in a manner that this double-edged sword that we are talking about, we slowly convert it into not being influenced by the double-edgedness of it. Okay? Let's end the class. Om Sarvesham Swastir Bhavatu Sarvesham Shantir Bhavatu Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah Sarve Santu Niramayaha Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschit Dukha Bhag Bhavet. Om Swasti Prajabhyav Paripalayantam Nyayena Margena Mahim Mahishaha Go Brahmanebhyah Shubhamastu Nityam Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu Kale Varshatu Parjanyah Prithvi Sasya Shalini Deshoyam Kshobarahitah Brahmana Santu Nirbhayaha Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Dhanyavad, Dipti ji.
Dhanyavad. Oh, just
Thank
an
you so much.
announcement. I am still trying to start on the 19th, but I can also, I'm still not very certain. We are starting on 19th. It could be 3rd also. By next week, I should, means obviously it's only 1 week left anyway. I'll be announcing in a day or two. When will we start Bhaj Govindam finally? On 19th or on 3rd itself? Some commitments came up which I couldn't avoid. But I want to put my whole mind into it before, in a way. Done it very, very long ago. In the very beginning, when we started, twice, thrice have done. But to reorient it, I need to look at it once before I restart. So hopefully, I thought I would manage this week. Haven't been able to. So let's see if I still manage tomorrow and day after. We'll have it on 19th. If I'm not for whatever reason, I think then best is to start on 3rd. 3rd is Guru Purnima. We'll start. It's a good day to start. But I'll give a final confirmation. And apologize if somebody has already planned accordingly. And it may be good for someone because I think some of you are traveling also. But I'm not going, I'll just keep that because actually in August I may have some commitments. I did not want to. There may be a possibility I may have to uh, cancel a class. I'm starting early so that before we cancel, may have to, we can cover some ground. That's why my thing is to start early because in August I may be a little tight. Okay. So let's see, God willing, when we start. But we are starting, that's for sure. Okay. Hari Om, everyone. Hari Om, everyone.
Hari Om, Dipti ji.
Hari Om.
Dhanyavad.
Thank you very much, Deepti ji.
Dhanyavad.